about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Dahlia Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
Now, I find this really, really odd. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to the Dr. Dahlia Show. But this is a very, very odd article. So this title caught my eye. It's from Slate Journal, or from the Slate media site, slate.com. It says, well, that is one day for JD and Usha Vance to respond to the Erica Kirk divorce rumors. Now, I have not been at all interested in any of that back and forth. And I understand when the media runs out of things to talk about as it pertains to Trump, they'll go after the vice president. And I guess J.D. Vance hugged Erica Kirk after losing her husband, and everybody tried to say, oh, yeah, they're sleeping together, and he and Usha are about to, I guess, have a divorce, and all this BS was going on. I didn't pay it any mind. It didn't make any sense to me, and I thought it was all BS and a distraction. But the author of this article, Heather Schwedel, she makes a statement here as it pertains to MAGA and the upcoming election. She says, quote, for all we know, there was never any trouble in their marriage, and the cognitive dissonance is pure projection. But it does make a kind of sixth sense, she writes, that if Vance can't have a white wife standing next to him, she says, as he clearly looks towards the 2028 presidential election, the next best thing is a pregnant one. Excuse me? This is what she writes. That Vance might not be able to, she's insinuating that Vance would not be able to win the 2028 election without having a white wife. So instead, he has his longtime wife, high school sweetheart, get pregnant with their fourth child. Really? This is a BS. People are, I also don't understand how, when you have, obviously this is more of a liberal side of things. I thought the liberals were very, pro-women, encouraging women to do what they want, whether it's having a family or not. And so now is having a family a Republican thing? Really? And not, don't all Americans want, to have American babies and have babies and, or don't they want to support immigrants and their babies? And I'm kind of confused by this. Now, J.D. Vance is 41. She's 40. This would be their fourth child. They have 2 sons and a daughter. I guess they range from 4 to 8 years old. If they want to have a fourth child, let them have a fourth child. Leave them the hell alone. Give them some privacy. Really? Do people think J.D. Vance is having a baby just so he could win the presidency? Is this what politics are coming to? I don't think that's why. If he wants to have a fourth child and they're in their 40s, they're going to have to figure out when to do it. And if the 2028 election is going to be a very nasty, difficult one, that's not going to be very, very easy on a pregnant wife who will then be 43 years old. So, or 42 and a half. So going through a fourth child at age 40, the sooner the better, if that's what you want, if you're planning that. And so now people are going back and forth saying, well, Republicans are trying to make a statement to have more kids. And they, there has been that sentiment, whether it's from the late Charlie Kirk, whether it's from many individuals saying, look, we understand that career has come first and we've really changed the dynamic of a nuclear family. But having children not only is good for society, but it's good for you. We have so many individuals that have nobody to take care of them because they didn't have kids or they ruined their relationship with the 1 or 2 kids that they had. Now, I wish I had more, but I barely got through both of them with them all being alive and well, that I figured the next baby wouldn't make it. And so after 2, we stopped. I would have loved to have 4. My mom had 4 kids. I would have loved to have 4, but I just couldn't do it, not with work and all that. And I have regrets. I love that I have 2 kids, but would I have loved to have more? Be fruitful and multiply? Absolutely. God gave me the ability to be fertile, but because one almost died during childbirth and the other one just failed to grow at 7 months, I just didn't know what, God forbid, could happen with the next one. And so we stopped after 2. But having a kid is not Republican or Democrat. As I said, it's human. Our bodies are designed to have kids. It's not that that's our sole purpose. We have other purposes, but I got to tell you, boobies, right, to feed kids. The whole menstrual cycle, uterus, vagina, all that's all designed. I mean, a good part of us are designed for having kids. Same thing with men. Your testicles are making sperm for a reason. And so we may want to deny it, for career, and deny it because of money, or deny it whatever. But somebody deciding to, on their own, expand their family should not be criticized. You don't even have to encourage it. Just butt the hell out. Butt out. People are so ugly about politics that they're going to want to now bring a fetus into this. And look at how everybody wants to say that they're breaking up. Look, marriages are tough. I don't know what's going on with their marriage. I don't care. It's their private time. But I'm telling you right now, if you have 3 kids together, yeah, there's going to be some not so easy nights. I'm telling you right now. Right? Kids, they definitely add to a chaotic dynamic. But they're a family. They look happy. Why somebody would want to try to mix in something, insidious with him and Erica Kirk, it's disgusting. But unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more of this. So trying to say that you need to have a pregnant wife next to you when she's not going to be pregnant in the year 2028 or for the 2028 election, I think is stupid. I don't know what this person was thinking. And for those of you that are kind of contemplating, gosh, can I have kids? Is it going to cost a lot? How to do this? Sit down with your loved ones, sit down with your family and talk it through, or sit down with your clergy, or sit down with your doctor and say, look, what am I looking at? But I got to tell you, having kids for me was the best thing I could have ever done. I can't imagine living without them. And I'm so grateful I have them. And, now I have somebody to rely on when I get older, God willing. 1-877-Doc-Dolly. Don't go away. Dr. Dahlia here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
Welcome back to the Dr. Dahlia Show, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So I'm not sure if you've seen the video, but this is disgusting. Apparently there's a nurse who works for Virginia Commonwealth University that has made multiple videos on how individuals could harm ICE agents. And one of her recommendations was using succinylcholine in a syringe. Another suggestion was getting poison ivy from someone's yard, mixing it with water, putting it in a spray gun, and spraying it at officers' faces. Also, she suggested putting dead fish in their room, putting something into their food to make them sick. And she said, just pretend you got sick too. She also encouraged that single ladies get on dating websites, try to get with these guys, and then hurt them on the date. She's a nurse. Now, we're being told by Fox News that Virginia Commonwealth University Health and VCU police are investigating after she was making all these sort of tips, and she even called them tips, for people to attack ICE agents. VCU told Fox News Digital, we prioritize the health and safety of anyone who comes to us for care. We are aware of a series of videos that appear to have been posted by an individual confirmed to be an employee of our health system. They say the content of the videos is highly inappropriate and does not reflect the integrity or values of our health system. VCU police are assisting in this investigation per policy. While the investigation is underway, the individual is on administrative leave and will not be in our facilities or interacting with patients. Now, the TikTok video has been deleted. I guess she calls herself Redhead Redemption and was pretty quickly identified as a VCU health employee. Now, in one video, she captions it with hashtag ICE resistance sabotage. And then she does another video saying, oh, I thought of something good. And then she says sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. She says all the medical providers grab some syringes with needles on the end, have them full of saline or succinylcholine, whatever. Really, a paralytic, really? They will probably be a deterrent. Be safe. Really? This is frightening. Absolutely frightening. And the fact that she is in healthcare, this is why we have to keep politics out. Because if somebody thinks that because they are American, but they support one candidate or another, that there's going to be somebody who can put something into your syringe or make you sick or pretend that it was an accident. You know how we cannot have individuals in our healthcare system that will admit to the, listen, we all have our biases. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Somebody comes in Steelers gear. Listen, I respect your decision. I'm not a Steelers fan, although I have won some money on them this year, but I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Sorry. That's, okay. All right, let's agree to disagree and let's move on with our lives. But people really want to make this deeper and more vicious and more bloody. If the whole reason why you are protesting ICE because you want peace and quiet and people not in detention centers if they're illegally here, then why would you be advocating for non-peace, for violence, for chaos? You hear these people saying, with ICE here, it's chaos. Well, if the protesters were peacefully assembling and practicing their First Amendment rights in another area and not engaging with armed officers, it wouldn't be chaotic. But the protesters are making chaos. And healthcare workers have opinions on politics. And they have a right to believe and vote how they want to. What they don't have a right to do is engage others and encourage maladies, crimes, things that hurt people. Succinylcholine, we use it. It's an anesthetic, and we use it for rapid short-acting muscle paralysis. She is recommending that staff steal medicine from hospitals, from patients who need them, steal equipment to hurt other human beings who are there to do a job that the federal government and the Constitution and other countries like Canada, Japan, Mexico do. So does she also want people to do that to Canadian ICE agents? To ICE agents in Mexico? So her hashtag stay toxic. They know it's toxic. She wants, and it looks like a group of many other individuals want toxicity. And they want ICE to leave. Now, ICE has some choices to make. All right. Not sure what happened with the ICU nurse. And I understand nurses are really, really upset that an ICU nurse was shot. I'm not sure what the situation was. I mean, from what we understand, we're being told he was disarmed. But then somehow during the scuffle, he gets shot. Did he reach for a weapon? Was somebody trigger happy? What happened? We don't know. There's going to be an investigation. What we do know is this was somebody who had approached them multiple times. And I believe his ribs got broken a few days prior, scuffling with ICE agents. I mean, if I was a nurse or doctor, I mean, I'm a doctor, but if I was a nurse, I would be telling everybody, guys, if you want to be safe, do not engage with armed officers. If you see police, right, arresting somebody, don't go up to that police officer. You step back. If you don't want blood to accidentally get on you in a casualty or a medical event that paramedics are trying to assist and treat, stay away from the ambulance. I mean, this is, if you don't want to be involved in a drive-by shooting and you see something like that, get away. I mean, you hear all this rhetoric. ICE agents are shooting people. Well, then why just shooting, people randomly? Well, then if that's how you really feel, then go peacefully protest away from them. Why are you coming back to these agents? Once the agents do their job, they leave. And instead, it's no, we like the chaos. Stay toxic. Yeah, this nurse says, single ladies, where these ICE guys are going, they have a chance to do something, not without risk, but could help the cause for sure. Get on Tinder, get on Hinge, find these guys. They're around. If they're an ICE agent, bring some X-Lax and put it in their drinks. Get them sick. Nobody's going to die, just enough to incapacitate them and get them off the street for the next day. Highly, easily deniable. Okay, that's a crime, lady. She goes, I'm just saying, let's get them where they eat. Somebody's not going to be supporting these guys. Where's the hotel where they eat? Who makes that breakfast? Let's find them. And then she says, let's make their lives blanking miserable. Well, if she is urging or recommending criminal activity and taking medication out of a hospital used for patients and telling nurse, I mean, this is you get fired on the spot. It'll be interesting to see what happens and what VCU and what the police do, but and the hospital system at which she works. But I'm watching her, and it's scary. She's taking care of patients. As a doctor, I am trusting somebody like her with life or death decisions. What if she sees an American flag tattoo on them? Is she going to think they're pro-ICE? And what's she going to do? We want everybody to have freedom of religion and freedom of politics, and you believe and you be who you are, but you leave, you don't take it to work. And you don't suggest hurting other individuals. That's why that medical student that was saying, was bragging how she stabbed somebody with a needle twice. I don't think she really did. I think she was just trying to get some social media cred to get the attention of somebody. Well, she almost got kicked out of medical school. And she said she did this because he questioned her her pronouns. He had never seen something like that. He's like, she, her. Well, isn't that obvious? And she said that made her so mad, she stabbed him twice with the needle. Come on, people. Healthcare workers have to be better than that. 1-877-Doc-Dolly. Don't go away.
Looking for a gift that can actually help secure someone's future? It's Mark Falter's new book, Common Sense Income Strategies. It makes the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using time-tested strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. To learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Secure your future with Common Sense Income Strategies by Mark Falter. Again, to learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635.
Welcome back to the Dr. Dahlia Show, 1-877-Doc-Dolly, 1-877-DOCDALI. So we keep hearing tax the rich, wealthy tax. We need people to pay their fair share. We keep hearing this. And Zohran Mamdani wants to do that in New York. In California, apparently they're going to do a wealth tax on billionaires. Not that we're crying a river for billionaires, but unfortunately, whenever something like this happens, it always ends up hurting the little guy anyway. And I think there might be a better way to do it. So just to recap, California is proposing a Billionaire Tax Act. It's called the 2026 Billionaire Tax Act, which would be a one-time 5% tax on those in California whose net worth is about $1 billion. It would be looking at their net worth as of this year, and then they would pay in the 2027 tax season. They believe there's about 210 maybe individuals that would qualify for that. So to get 5% of their $1 billion wealth, it would go to, according to California, it would go to healthcare, public healthcare, and education. Now, this has been very controversial because, right, there's, California is already a very, very high tax country. I mean, there should already be plenty of tax dollars unless they're misspending it, they are miscalculating, or, it's expensive to live in California. So going to the wealthy and saying, well, you guys need to pay your fair share. In fact, the Service Employees International Union backs it, and many other places back it. I think it's going to possibly have some unintended consequences. And I'm not here to protect billionaires. I think they make enough money, etc. But what we're seeing is they're leaving. They don't want to pay the tax. They're leaving. And if California is that desperate, or New York is that desperate, where they really need rich people to give them money to pay for all the entitlements and spending and public health care, there's an issue. Now, people say, well, then let's just go socialize so the government helps pay for it, or go communist so that, we need to fix the problem first before we make this a bigger mistake. Capitalism can work. And what can really, really work is encouraging donors to donate. Now, I know people say, Dr. Dahlia, really, nobody's going to donate. No rich person wants to part with their money. I beg to differ. One thing rich people like is their name on a building, or credit, or having the Quan or the goodie points. I see this in temples and churches and at where you could donate and have your name on a seat or have your name on the Bibles or have your name on the building. I think Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas did that, where guys, you could buy a brick of Allegiant Stadium. Your name will be on it, and then you forever will have built this. And they got tons of money, and by non-rich individuals who wanted to have their name or a piece of that. And so, as I said before, back in 2009, as it pertained to Obamacare and the millions upon billions of dollars that was spent on Obamacare, I was like, why don't we put that money into free clinics? And then if you need extra funding for these free clinics, you have wealthy doctors or wealthy medical institutions who say, you know what, we got a new CAT scan, we're going to donate this, or we're going to donate this x-ray machine, or we're going to donate, or the pharmaceutical companies, medicines that are a month or two out of expiration, you could have, they're still safe, they're still usable, and then they get the credit. You always, look at what we're seeing with College Bowl. It used to be the Rose Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, or Orange Bowl, or whatever they called the bowls years ago. And now it's the AT&T, Charmaine, T-Mobile, Tax Robot, whatever bowl. And they're getting money. And these colleges, wow, these colleges are already making tons of money. On top of that, they need to also get all those endorsements. Why aren't we looking at ways where that sort of money could come in without it being a tax? When you start to isolate and demarginalize groups of individuals, like smokers, you're smokers, you got to pay an extra tax. That's on you. Look, we smoke because we did 2 tours in Vietnam. We did Persian Gulf tours where we start to smoke in the military. Really? This is what you're going to now do? Now we got to pay more taxes than anybody else? Same thing with billionaires. You know what? We know you donated. We know you have a foundation. We know this. But you know what? Because you're rich, give us 5%. That's not how we do things in America. Just give us money because you're this or that. We don't do that because then, well, just do this because you're Jewish. Just do this because you're black. Just do this because you're Mexican. No, we don't do that. So instead, I like the voluntary way of doing things. And if California really wants to subsidize healthcare, then there's ways to do that, working with these billionaires that might actually end up being more than 5%. We like the Golden Dome. I'm not saying let's call the Golden Dome that Trump wants to do the AT&T Golden Dome or but you see where these other companies are giving bucks, major bucks, because they get some credit, they get some advertising. And most of these billionaires are billionaires because of a company they own that could sure use the advertising. And maybe that's how we need to approach things. If you want to set up free clinics, this is going to be the Dr. Dahlia clinic. And I don't have $1 billion. I don't even have money for a clinic. But you see what I'm saying? Somebody's like, I'd love to have the Dahlia clinic. The Dr. Dahlia STD clinic has a nice ring to it. Now, people want other individuals to know that they aren't selfish, that they're very generous. Look at the individuals helping Donald Trump with the $1,000 Trump accounts for children. Everybody born in the next few years of Trump's second presidency gets $1,000 that will hopefully build into a college or retirement account. That's the Dell company donating for that. You can get more than 5% out of these billionaires if, again, it takes more. You catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And what are these billionaires doing? They're leaving. In fact, I think France tried this. I saw an article where France tried a wealth tax, and Macron had to repeal it because people were again fleeing. They say in 2000 to 2017, 60,000 millionaires opted to leave the country. So then they ended up having dearths in state revenue. They had issues. So they, I guess, they might have lost, billions of dollars by people fearing that they are going to be taxed and leaving. And so I think at that point they taxed millionaires. I think they taxed assets worth over 1.3 million euros. And so with people leaving saying, well, I don't want to spend that money, because what can rich people do? Rich people can pay for a moving van. Rich people can hop on a plane. They know how to leave. Look at what happened with New York, where they left New York to go to Florida. So I think there's a better way to do it. So you look at hospitals. We need money coming into hospitals. Patients aren't paying. Either they can't or they won't. Money needs to come into the system. We now have nurses with Kaiser who are striking. And right, so then get the donor wall going. Get the wing going. These billionaires, if you're only talking about 200 billionaires in California, I am sure you're going to get the majority of them to say, look, we want to help. And by the way, if they do help, then you leave them alone with future extra taxes. They'll still pay their taxes that they need to. But if they're doing this, they get a mulligan. I think it's a good idea. 1-877 Doc Dolly. Don't go away.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. You know, we've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel, such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles, along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Hey, America. How tired are you of mainstream corporate media's biased narratives and manipulated news? Their dishonesty and attempts to influence this generation have been exposed, put on display for anyone who's even half paying attention. But the New American Magazine has been an honest source of news and commentary for over 50 years. This is your opportunity to receive the stalwart of principled journalism at a deep discount. Picture a beautifully published magazine arriving at your doorstep twice a month, packed with insightful stories written with integrity. It's also available digitally on the New American's mobile app. Get up to speed with intelligent coverage from a freedom perspective. Right now, for a limited time, the New American is available to radio listeners at a 25% discount on a new subscription. Visit thenewamerican.com/radio25 and receive 25% off. Subscribe today at thenewamerican.com/radio25.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Dolly Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. So when I interview a patient and get their history and I ask them about their diet and their exercise, a fewer percentage of them have been saying they're doing this, but still a good number do it. And when I ask them, how their diet's been, they go, oh, I'm good. I juice. Oh, you juice. Okay. How's your diet? Oh, I'm a juicer. Okay. I guess that's the thing. You could be a juice, not a Jew. You could be Jewish, but no, not juice. They're juicers. Okay. Like making juice out of food. Okay. All right. I'll have some au jus with my steak. You want a Jew? No. Au jus. Forget it. Just forget it. So, okay. Let's go back to juicing. So juicing is where you take your fruits and your vegetables, maybe throw in your steak, and you make a puree out of it. And I've been a fan of juicing. I don't juice. For me, I'll just take the celery stick. I don't like to drink things. I'm not a big drinker. I mean, I'll drink some water, but it's hard enough to eat the vegetables, let alone let it kind of swish around in my mouth. So for me, I'm like, just give me the vegetables that are going in the blender. I'll just eat them. They're in me. They're good. But for those of you go and look, I want to keep my appetite down. I want vegetables. I want to get more vegetables in your juice. I haven't been opposed to that. I've been opposed to it if there's a lot of sugar and crap in it. You know, I understand you could buy vegetable juices over the counter, but what sort of preservatives are in there? We need to know. Well, everybody says it's healthier. Juicing is healthier. Well, we have a study that is saying if you're thinking about juicing, or if life gives you lemons, you might want to juice them. You might not want to. So New York Post has a great article on this, where apparently the study says, wait a second, this could affect your gut, your metabolism, and immunity. So maybe, pump the brakes. This study has found that juicing has become very popular. And study author Dr. Melinda Ring, director of the Osher Center for Integrative Health at Northwestern University Feinberg School of Medicine, and is a Northwestern medicine physician, says most people think of juicing as a healthy cleanse. But this study offers a reality check. They looked at healthy adults who drank only juice. Others consumed juice with whole foods. And a third group ate whole plant-based foods. So interesting groups. The researchers analyzed bacterial changes via saliva, cheek swabs, stool samples before, during, and after the experimentation. Excuse me, now I got the hiccups. The juice-only group, oh, please, I hope I don't have the hiccups. Sorry, guys, once I get the hiccups, the whole segment gets hiccups, so just cut me some slack. Yeah, maybe some juice can help me with that. So the juice-only group had the most significant increase in bacteria linked to inflammation and gut permeability, while the juice plus the food group had less severe bacterial changes. Those who ate the whole food, the actual foods, saw more beneficial microbial shifts, leading the researchers to suggest that juicing without the fiber may disrupt the gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome is something we've been studying really, really generously over the last couple decades to see how what we eat, if we are what we eat, and if what we eat could be affecting our brains, our dementia, our health, and the gut microbiome could tell us that. So if you eat a lot of sugar and drink a lot of alcohol, your gut microbiome is going to be much different than somebody who eats a lot of vegetables. But even though there's microscopic fiber when you juice and blend and crush, there's something to eating the celery stick. There's something to eating foods in their whole form. And when I heard about the study, to me, it made absolute sense that maybe juicing isn't the healthiest way to consume your foods, because your body back in caveman days they didn't have blenders. You would grab the apple. You would grab the fish. You would get the zebra. You would grab the nuts. And so pureeing it down might not necessarily give the body what it needs. It might need that work, with the foods. It might need to. And maybe when people are juicing, they're adding things that affect the acidity or affect I'm not sure. But it starts to make you rethink. If you're trying to get the vegetables in and the fiber in, you might need to do it whole. So they believe that the juicing is stripping away the fiber, and fiber feeds healthy gut bacteria. So that would make sense. You need that to facilitate smooth and regular bowel movements, help control your blood sugar, lower cholesterol, and lessen the risk of heart disease and stroke. And what happens when you reduce your fiber? Well, you could affect your bowels, your bowel health, you could affect your metabolism, and affect your immunity. A lot of you guys are struggling to lose weight on these weight loss drugs. And the first thing I ask is, how constipated are you? If you're not pooping, you're not going to lose weight that well. Your metabolism does better when you end up having your cycles with your bowel movements. Same thing, I'm noticing that with periods. A lot of women that don't get regular periods struggle with weight. You might need that cycle. And so if you haven't pottied in the last 3-4 days because you took an Ozempic shot and you're like, I don't think I'm losing weight. It's not so much the weight of the bowel. It's your metabolism is going to slow. Your metabolism needs regular bowels. So here's the thing. All right. I am still not against juicing. If that's how you get your vegetables in, go for it. I mean, if you can't stand eating vegetables, or if you think the long piece of celery affects your gut health, and if you do it by juicing, you get the vegetables in, I just want you to get vegetables in your body. And if your choice is vegetable juicing or a candy bar, do the vegetable juicing. Okay, let's not mess around. But if you can eat the salad and you can eat, in fact, they found that, is it lycopene? There's a chemical, there's a nutrient in your salads and vegetables that help prevent grain, where if you're very good with your vegetable diet, oftentimes you gray slower because the vegetables you're eating, especially raw. So look, I just want you to eat a better diet, and like, for example, some people say, look, I can't eat celery, but if I put a little cream cheese on it or peanut butter, I could get it down. I don't mind. But if you're completely eating a jar full of peanut butter every week to get some celery down, that's a problem. But, I keep hearing people saying, well, I'm going to do a cleanse. For the new year, I'm doing a cleanse. I didn't lose weight in January, so for February, I'm going to do a cleanse. And there's apparently all these cleanses online where you just eat lemon juice, or you do apple cider vinegar, or you starve, or you what are you cleansing? The dishes? I get cleanses in the figurative sense, but I think a lot of people think it's literal. They're really cleansing their liver. If you want to cleanse your liver, eat well and don't put crap into your body. Eat a balanced diet. That'll cleanse your liver, drinking water. But going through these, I'm just going to starve myself and only have some lemons. I understand that some people reported they felt better and they lost some weight, but long term, you're not really cleansing. If you want to cleanse your kidneys of toxins, you hydrate and you avoid the toxins. Same thing with the liver. So, get this idea that you're cleansing. But if you're trying to introduce healthier foods by juice, I get it. But if you could eat them raw and cleaned, that's better. According to this study, 1-877 Dr. Dolly, don't go away. Guys, Dr. Dahlia here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdahlia.com. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.